After the Second World War, the world entered a period of great change. From the ashes of global conflict, a new battleground emerged, the Cold War. Developing nations, referred to as the Third World, became the new frontiers in this global chess game. In this tense environment, a new school of thought arose, modernization theory. Modeling itself on the developmental path of Western nations, this framework argued for a universal path to progress. At its core, modernization theory championed industrialization, urbanization, mass communication, and democratization. Proponents like Walter Rostow and Daniel Lerner argued that societies evolve through a predictable process. Modernization theory's appeal during the Cold War carried significant weight by providing a potent ideological counterpoint to the socialist and communist models championed by the Soviet Union. Among the architects of modernization theory, Daniel Lerner stands out with his influential work, The Passing of Traditional Society, Modernizing the Middle East. Lerner's research focused on the key role of media and communication in dissolving the rigid structures of traditional societies. At the heart of Lerner's thesis was the concept of empathy. He argued that mass communication through mediums like radio, film, and newspapers had the power to broaden an individual's capacity for empathy. This newfound empathy was the catalyst for broader societal transformation. As individuals encountered new ideas through media, their aspirations shifted and the desire for change intensified. Lerner, by meticulously documenting the lives of Balgat residents, observed how media exposure reshaped their worldviews and aspirations. Nestled in the hills of Anatolia, Balgat in the 1950s offered a microcosm of the societal shifts sweeping the developing world. Traditionally a close-knit agricultural community, Balgat saw its rhythms of life increasingly disrupted by modernization. Lerner's observations centered on two contrasting figures, the Muhtar, village headman, and the Bakal, shopkeeper. The village headman represented tradition, while the shopkeeper symbolized modernity. The shopkeeper's exposure to the wider world through his travels and media consumption led to a more individualistic outlook. He represented the allure of city life, consumer goods, and personal aspirations. Through these two figures, Lerner illustrated the broader societal tensions brought about by modernization. As modernization's influence reached Balgat, a subtle yet profound shift in influence began. The Muhtar, once an unquestioned figure of authority, saw his influence wane. His pronouncements, rooted in tradition, no longer held the same sway over a populace increasingly exposed to alternative viewpoints. The shopkeeper, on the other hand, experienced a surge in social capital. His knowledge of the outside world, access to consumer goods, and modern outlook made him a figure of admiration, especially among the younger generation. Lerner's research documented a growing preference for the shopkeeper's perspective among Balgat's youth. This shift from Muhtar to marketplace represented a fundamental realignment of values and aspirations. At the heart of Balgat's transformation lay the power of communication. Lerner argued that increased access to media had a profound impact on shaping aspirations and fueling the desire for change. Through radio broadcasts, villagers were exposed to news and information from the outside world. Films showcased the allure of modernity, providing glimpses into different lifestyles. Exposure to new ideas and ways of life had a transformative effect. It fueled the desire for a better life, fostering a sense of relative deprivation. This desire became a powerful engine driving the push for modernization, even if it meant abandoning cherished traditions. While Lerner's work in Balgat offers valuable insights into the dynamics of modernization, it's important to acknowledge the broader geopolitical context. The 1950s marked the height of the Cold War, a period of intense ideological competition. Academic work and research were often intertwined with the strategic interests of nation-states. While Lerner's work wasn't directly funded by the CIA, it was supported by organizations like the USIA. The USIA played a significant role in disseminating information and shaping narratives that aligned with US foreign policy objectives. While it's impossible to say definitively to what extent outside influences shaped Lerner's findings, it's important to acknowledge that his work was entangled in the complex web of Cold War politics. Viewing modernization theory through a 21st century lens, it's impossible to ignore its inherent biases and shortcomings. Critiques from post-colonial scholars and dependency theorists have highlighted the flaws in its assumptions. Modernization theory often failed to account for the diversity of cultures, histories, and economic realities in the developing world. Its emphasis on industrialization and market-driven growth often came at the expense of social equality and environmental sustainability. Furthermore, the pursuit of modernization often led to new forms of dependency, reinforcing existing power imbalances. While modernization theory offered a seductive narrative of progress, it often obscured the complexities and unintended consequences of rapid social and economic transformation.